Hey guys, what's up? It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. So this is going to be a quick video, as I always say, which is probably not always the case, but this is 10 things to know before going to Costa Rica. Let's get started. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm actually here in Jaco. That is going to be on the Pacific side of Costa Rica. It's a little bit warmer, but I'll tell you about that a little bit in a different video. Also, check out our other videos in our playlist, and please hit that subscribe button before we get started. And also the little bell to get notified of new videos. So the first thing is, if you're looking to enjoy like the jungles, monkeys, or waterfalls, or anything like that, San Jose is not going to be the place, okay? A lot of the times that's going to be your fly-in destination, but you have to keep in mind and remember that that is not in close proximity to literally pretty much anything. And the problem with that is, if you're wanting to see like literally any waterfalls or anything like that, it's going to be a 2 or 4 hour bus ride to get to something like that. Now, don't be discouraged, because that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that you need to keep in mind. It's a good spot to kind of get your bearings and stuff like that, and then move forward for the next day or the future weeks or whatever your travel is. Mine was a little bit over 3 weeks. That's how long I stayed here. But yours may be a week or something like that. So definitely make sure you use proper time management skills. You don't want to be like, okay, I'm here a week, I'm going to spend 3 or 4 days in San Jose and I'm going to see La Fortuna and stuff like that. That's not going to happen. You're going to want to go to those destinations individually. So number 2 is going to be cabs. Like, first of all, you don't want to get in any cab that's not a red cab with a yellow triangle on it. Those are the cabs you want to go for. And even further, make sure they have a meter. Chances are they're probably not going to run the meter, but red cabs with the yellow triangle. Don't get on anybody that, and a lot of the times, just so you know, cabs are completely, almost 100% of the time, they're negotiable. If somebody says it's 30 bucks to get somewhere, or 20 bucks to get somewhere, or whatever, remember, 30 turns into 20 real quick. And also, be careful, don't hand them 20 colones, because that's going to be like 40, 50 bucks. So definitely keep your bearings. Remember, I have another video on how to understand the colones, the Costa Rican colones, as far as like the money transition and stuff like that. So be careful about what you're giving. Also, make sure budget or negotiate within reason. Don't go super crazy and try to offend people or whatever. If somebody says 30 bucks, don't say 5, okay? Not only could you get yourself in a bad situation, but you're just being a straight up jerk, and that's just a bad idea. Okay, number 3 is going to be, make sure that you're actually doing the research and make sure in that specific area that you're going to. Say you're going to La Fortuna and you want to go to waterfalls, you want to go to Reno Volcano, you want to go to hot springs and stuff like that. If you're only there a day, chances are you're probably not going to happily be able to pack all 3 of those things in one day. Okay, it's going to take, you know, a couple hours to get to the volcano, and you could spend another couple hours touring around and stuff like that. I took a long hike specifically to the waterfall, and it took me all day. It was an all-day thing. I didn't even go to the hot springs. I didn't even go to the volcano necessarily. Obviously, it's right there in town. You can see it, but it takes a while to actually get to it. And I was there 2 or 3 days, and I was unable to do all of those things. So definitely make sure, whatever specific area you're going to, do a little bit more research. Make sure you know how long it's going to take to be able to go to each place, so that you don't waste your time or get your hopes up, especially if you're buying tickets in advance. You don't want to lose your money. Number 4, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what the money is. So if you got something that is 2,000 colones, times everything by 2, so 2 times 2 is 4,000. You got 4,000 colones, drop a 0, $4. Okay, basically. So just a quick understanding. If something's 3,500 colones, times 2 is 7,000, drop the 0, you got 7. So move on from. Okay, number 5 is buses are always going to be cheaper. As you can see, what a coincidence, it's actually behind me right now. You have a couple different kinds of buses. You have like the normal city buses in Costa Rica, then you have the kind of the long-term buses, and then you have the really country to country long-term buses. Okay, so they go city bus is going to be the most cheap, but it's not going to take you from like San Jose to La Fortuna. That's going to be like more of a coach style. They don't have bathrooms, but they will stop every couple hours. A little bit more expensive, but not by much. And then they have like, if you were going from like Panama to Nicaragua or something like that, that will be a little bit nicer bus. It's going to have bathrooms. It's not going to stop as often randomly on the side of the road with the door open for like an hour, which kind of freaks you out or whatever. But don't believe the hype. The buses are always going to be cheaper, okay? These hostels and stuff like that are going to try to upsell you like shuttles and buses and stuff like that. Like for instance, just a quick understanding, I was in Monteverde and I was going from there to La Fortuna, and he's like, no, it's going to take you like 8-10 hours on a bus. You don't want to do that, and I can get you a shuttle for like 30 bucks. It's a shuttle to a boat to a shuttle. And I was like, well, that's kind of sketchy because there's like a jungle in the middle or whatever. And I was like, I don't know, you know, I'd like to go where, you know, there's more people and stuff like that. Plus, I'm on a super tight budget. So I was like, well, how do I get there from the bus or whatever? So I actually ended up getting there on the bus in 3 hours, which is quicker than he said that shuttle was going to get there, like 5 hours or whatever. And it ended up costing me like $5 or $6 versus the 30. Now, it's up to you. If you got a larger group of people, maybe you feel more comfortable or whatever, but I like to save money on certain things. That way maybe I can have a nice dinner or, you know, a little bit nicer place to stay or something like that. Because transportation for me is whatever, you know, you can multitask, you can do other things, you can take pictures, you could read, you could relax, kind of re-recollect. So remember, buses are always going to be cheaper. Buses, coaches, and like a Greyhound version. Okay, number 6 is take it easy, relax, slow down a little bit. I think generally speaking, south of the border, everybody does move a little bit faster. Like if you're going to a place like a restaurant, or you're going to a specific place to eat, or you're paying for something, yeah, it could be a little bit more expensive. Or I mean, the service could be a little bit faster. But remember, don't stress if it's taking time to wait for a bus, or it's taking time for a wait for a tour or whatever. Remember, you're on vacation. You're not meant to be able to stress out or freak out or whatever. Just enjoy the ride. It's all good. Okay, number 7. So not to totally freak anybody out, but my number 1 tip that this actually just got added in, because the other night I was in Puerto Viejo in the Caribbean side. By far, probably my most favorite place out of anywhere. It's a pretty dope spot, but I do have an air of caution, okay? Everybody's gonna be trying to sell you weed or coke or whatever, and that's kind of generally speaking all around Costa Rica. And that's okay, you know, anytime you go to a place that has a lot of tourists and stuff like that, that's definitely a real thing. But besides that, I would say if you're going to go out at night, don't go out alone, and make sure you're not going out with just females or whatever. I went with a buddy of mine that I met, Sergio. I call him Sergio because I don't know what the hell his name is. I know his name is Tobias, but I didn't understand how to pronounce it at first because we were doing whatever or whatever. So we were chilling with a couple chicks or whatever. I ended up leaving because I got a bad vibe. Apparently like 20 minutes later they went skinny dipping or whatever, and you're probably thinking, well, you missed out. Nah, actually they got robbed at knife point. So they took all their stuff. Took their cell phones, took their money and stuff like that. Didn't hurt them or nothing like that. Took their clothes. They had to come back. He came back with a coffee cup over his stuff or whatever. So please don't go out at night. But if you do, if you're in a large group of people, it's probably cool. It's not that big a deal. But remember, if you're looking for trouble, you're going to find it, and that's no matter where you're going. For the most part, I've had no problems anywhere in Costa Rica so far. Cross my fingers, knock on wood. So number 8 is, just like I said before, people are going to approach you for different things. Not only is it going to be weed and coke, but it's going to be tours, it's going to be buying their tchotchke stuff or whatever. And if that's your thing, that's cool, I understand. But if you're wanting to get from place to place, answering each single person is going to slow you down significantly. So what I like to do is kindly ignore or pretend I didn't hear somebody. Another good tactic is throw on some headphones like this, nobody is going to talk to you. Nobody's going to approach you. You don't even have to have them on. You'd be surprised. You'll walk by people all day long and you can sense who would be talking to you, and they literally will not bother you. So if you're scared to kindly ignore them, maybe throw on some headphones, just pretend you're listening to music, or listen to music, and it can really set your mood. Number 9, we're almost done. Number 9 is be ready for the weather. Okay, I'll put some links in the description below. It's like some flip-flops or ponchos or whatever. If you're going all around Costa Rica, the weather is going to be significantly different. If you're on this side, on the Pacific side, it's going to be hot, sunny, dry. I think it's like 85 degrees roughly Fahrenheit right now. And then if you go on the Caribbean side, maybe it's like 60, 65 and rainy or whatever. If you go up to Monteverde, it's like pretty much raining all the time. La Fortuna, pretty much raining all the time. So it kind of depends on where you're going. So, but also in those individual zones, you can always have changes in weather. So just be ready, have a couple extra things in your pack, and always check the links in the description below. I'll tell you the stuff I used or the stuff I recommend in the links below. Number 10, and I do have one honorable mention after this, but the tourist areas, specifically like this area or pretty much any zone where it's going to have like bars, restaurants, shops, places for souvenirs and stuff like that, it's going to be pretty overpriced. So if you're looking for like suntan lotion, or if you're looking for electronics, like I lost a mouse. It ended up costing me like $20 for a computer mouse, and it was not that great a quality. And I'm saying this because that specific thing would cost me like $5 at home, and maybe $10 outside of a tourist area. So if you lose something, specifically electronics can be really high because they have a high tax on bringing electronics in. So it's not necessarily that they're gouging you in prices, but if you are going to be buying stuff in this area, I've seen a normal price for a bottle of suntan lotion is about 20 bucks. That's pretty high, I think, but sandals are going to be pretty high, 20, 30 bucks, maybe even as high as Puerto Viejo had like $50, $60 sandals, and you're talking like sandals that weren't necessarily high-end. You're talking like something that would be, you know, a couple bucks at Walmart or something like that. So the last and final thing that I wanted to say is if you end up getting sick, which I happen to a lot of the times when I go vacationing or going touring around the world or whatever, Costa Rica specifically is a place where you can just straight up walk into a pharmacy, and usually like if you need like amoxicillin or painkillers or anything aside from like an operation, they can help you. The pharmacist can help understand or sometimes even diagnose, you know, what's wrong with you or what's going on. And remember, they can offer you, you know, like say you got Percocet, but then you got hydrocodone or whatever. So, or they got amoxicillin, and then they'll have like, you know, 3 versions of amoxicillin or 4 versions of amoxicillin, because the brand name that you would have in your home country may be extremely expensive because of the import tax, but they have something here that will work really well. For instance, I did that. The normal brand of amoxicillin that I needed for my sickness was going to be about 45 bucks, and not the cheapest, but the very cheapest one that I got was like 8 bucks for a week's supply. I don't know that it completely got me better, but it definitely made me feel, you know, 50% better. So that being said, I hope you guys like our video. Please check out the links in the description below. Check out onebigimpact.com. Also, check out our Facebook group called World Travelers. Yes, the links will be in the description below. Also, I'm trying to think what else. Pura vida, which means pure life, good times, all times, everything's good. It's hello, goodbye. You're gonna see it down here, and I hope you guys enjoy your trips to Costa Rica. If you're looking to book any tours, also there will be links in the description below. I hope you guys enjoy your time. I would say Costa Rica, I'd give it a 10 out of a 10. It's been a pretty cool experience. I would say also take your time, spend a little bit more time in Costa Rica. I think it's worth spending more time because of the massively different regions that they have. You guys enjoy your trip, and remember to travel always, and hurry up and travel before you regret it. You only live once. Peace.